And welcome back, everybody, to another TeamLiquid StarLeague number 9 qualifier, the final qualifier of TSL 9. It's, of course, the Americas server qualifier. I am going to be your host, Light VIP. Later, I'll be joined by some lovely co-casters, plural, hopefully. We'll see how we go. Fingers crossed that I won't be alone here for the entire broadcast. But we have our first series here for you today. We have a bit of a PvZ. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Data C ESL, we have the Croatian Protoss player representing Team Roddy. It is Goblin. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Data C ESL, we have the best player in all of Costa Rica. He is the purple Zerg player going for going for 13-12. It is EON. And of course he is. I think he heard that Kuro was going to be casting later on today, and he knew what he had to do. He had to have a 5-minute series. Oh my god. So if you've been watching the CranKy Ducklings recently, you should be familiar with EON. We casted him yesterday. We casted him even before that in the Latin American qualifiers for TeamLiquid StarLeague. He's become a very active player here. He's amazing at what he does, and what he does is cheese. And I don't know if Goblin is too familiar with him, but he goes for a probe scout anyway. He confirms the timing of the spawning pool and the gases. So Goblin knows that he needs to wall off. He needs to respond. He needs to chronoite his first zealots to get a shield battery up and running, make sure that the wall is a wall, and Goblin is preparing himself. Now, on the other side of things, what's interesting is that EON didn't pull out a gas, and we see why. So the links come out, they're going to be able to force this probe all the way back, and a roach warren is thrown down. What's important is that Goblin didn't see the roach warren, so he doesn't know. I also don't think he saw whether or not there was gas continued to be mined here at the natural either. If he did, he could deduce, okay, this could be a Baneling bust, or it could be a Roach Warren, or it could be a fast lair. There are a couple of different options here available to EON, but Goblin can piece it together. He's preparing back at home. The first zealot is already going to come out. We have a full wall with a second pylon, a part of the wall, just in case one goes down. There's going to be another to keep everything powered. But Goblin is still going for his natural base, so he still feels pretty confident in his defense. We'll see how confident he is once the roaches show up. As the Rich is already on the way. By the way, this is a one base all-in from EON. He hasn't expanded. He hasn't done anything of the sort. He intends to end the game sooner rather than later. Goblin, so far, his response is pretty standard. This is a little bit worrisome. So he was forced to throw down his second pylon here on the low ground as a part of the wall, just because he had to wall off, right? Which means his tech is here as well. Which means when the Roach Ravager rocks up, I mean, the Stargate is vulnerable. It's possible that the Stargate could be depowered before a Void Ray comes out, or even an Oracle. 2 shield batteries are being thrown down. Goblin again confirming, or he's going to be confirming, that there is no natural base. He rocks up with his Adept. He's like, oh no. And it is now go time here for EON. Goblin has to do everything he can to make sure this Stargate stays powered. Here we go, a third pylon being thrown down. I love the defense here in general. We have 2 shield batteries, 3 pylons, and we do have a chrono on that first Void Ray already. The pylon taking a little bit of damage here by these lings. The shield battery going to be keeping that alive. Oh my god, we do have a couple of files being thrown down as well. But so far, so good here for Goblin. Behind this, we do have a bit of a link flood. We do have 3 Ravagers in total, but I feel like the Void Ray is going to finish. Oof. Yeah, especially with these 3 pylons. I mean, even 1 pylon isn't going to die here. The Void Ray comes out. The Ravagers are going to be falling here. We do have 1 pylon finally going down, and the Lings are going to be able to bust on in. But with the shield battery, the Adepts aren't dying either. There's a 3rd shield battery finishing up as well. And it's cool that he broke into the natural, and he's going to be dealing some damage, but oh my, literally nothing is dying. That's insane. The power of shield batteries. The Ravager gets cleaned up, GG gets called, and Goblin will take the first game. GG. Oh god. Again, we kind of expect that kind of play from EON, but Goblin did a really good job at responding, at respecting what his opponent was doing, at getting ready for an all-in, confirming that it was coming, and everything was looking pretty perfect at the natural base of Goblin. Oof. And with that, he takes a lead in this series. Fingers crossed. I do hope that Eon can bring it back, and I do know he has plenty of tricks up his sleeve. He doesn't just have to go one base all in, papi. He can do other things. I believe in him. But we'll see. We'll see where we end up, more importantly. You know, what the hell were the vetoes? As, game number 2 is going to be on Moondance. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Here we go. Lobby has already been made, and we are loading into game number 2. And, yeah, Moondance is going to be a bit of an interesting one. I think everyone should be a little bit aware, but if you haven't seen this map, there is a pocket base, so it can be easier to expand on 3 bases. Because it's a pocket base, that also means you could try and proxy there as well. Maybe your opponent won't check, maybe he won't scout. We'll see. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Moondance ESL, we have the Croatian Protoss player himself representing Team Ruddy. He is red. He is Goblin. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Moondance ESL, we have the Costa Rican Zerg player himself representing Infernales Esports. It is EON. Ay. Okay, here we go. And again, our eyes are here on Eon. So far, everything's looking pretty standard. He's actually making drones. Let's go. Gonna be going for his natural base. But again, Eon doesn't just have to go for 1 base all-ins. He can go for 2 base timings as well. He can go for link floods. There is so much that Eon has to offer to the world. And Goblin has to scout it. So we already have a probe scout moving out across the map. Gonna confirm, okay, this time Eon does have a natural base. We have to go into the main just to make sure it isn't like any kind of weird fake, that there's any kind of weird shenanigans going on. Okay, there is no gas, there is no spawning pool. Everything is looking pretty normal so far. Maybe we can get into a normal game. We'll see. The other thing is, of course, on Moondance, it is a relatively short rush distance by ground as well, so ground-based pushes hit that much harder. We have seen a lot of even 66 drone roach timings as well on a map like this, which can hit pretty goddamn hard. So yeah, we have options for Eon depending on what he wants. I think the one thing that we can count out is that, yeah, we're not going to see like any kind of macro play here. I highly doubt it. Goblin is coming in here as the favorite. And my heart goes out to Eon when it comes to what he has in store for us. As a bit of a reminder to everyone, this is the America's server qualifier. And that means that it isn't region locked. Everyone is available here. We have, if you look at the bracket, exclamation mark B in the bracket, by the way, we have Koreans, we have Europeans, we have players from Southeast Asia, we have Americans, Latin Americans. Everyone has rocked up here. Everyone who hasn't qualified. If you know that there's a player who hasn't qualified, and if they're not in the bracket, then they just won't be a part of TSL. I think the big one is Scarlet. Scarlet was a part of the Korean qualifier, the Korean server qualifier specifically, as Scarlet is, I believe, currently living in Korea. But that also means that this qualifier is pretty early. I believe this started at 7 AM KST, Korean Standard Time. And I don't know if Scarlet had woken up then, or maybe it was too early, maybe she has other plans. Because of that, she isn't here a part of this qualifier. She won't be in TSL 9, which is a massive shame. I'm sure there are other players that we can probably throw in there as well that won't be a part of it. It just goes to show how brutal these qualifiers are, how difficult they can be to make it through and to be part of this major event. Meanwhile, Goblin coming across the map with his first adept, again looking to scout, checking, confirming, hey, you have drones at your natural. You love to see it. We have a third base as well. Again, everything's looking pretty standard, except Eon has a Baneliness behind this. A Bane bus is going to be coming out for Eon, and this has to be scouted. So far, the adept is going to be sneaking into the main base as he commits to the shade. He does not commit to the shade, and looking at the vision of Goblin, he did not see that Baneliness. So he is a little bit in the dark right now. We don't have a shield battery back at home. He's taking a third base. He did go for an Oracle opener, looking at the units. Only a single Oracle for the time being, just staying here, making sure the third base gets up and running. But again, Eon doesn't care about the third. He wants to bust into the natural. He wants to end the game. Links so far have been unscouted. They're hiding here again. Goblin has no idea what's going on. This is the best case scenario for Eon. Can he make this work? Can he slip this out from under Goblin? We'll find out, as again, we have nothing but leads all the way. We have a single drone, which is a little bit curious. Goblin making a bit of a mistake here. I say making a mistake. He was playing too safe. Because that the first Oracle didn't go across the map, he didn't scout. Meanwhile, the Baileys are going to be able to bust in. Link spot in as well. The wall is not a wall. There was no shield battery. It was barely enough to take down that Stalker. Both Oracles are rushing back home to try and save whatever they can. But here we go. Everything is depowered at the natural. The Lings, they flood into the main. Oh my god, we even have a couple of Baileys being morphed in as well. The Oracles are going to do what they can. There are 3 Oracles. That's a lot of DPS. That's a lot of firepower. EON is going to try and run that Pulsar beam out, but the Lings are not stopping. The Cyber Core is going to be going down as well. So far, the Lings have survived. The Bailings will connect into that mineral line, and there's only a single death remaining. There's still plenty of energy on these Oracles, so these Lings won't be able to straight up end the game. Not yet, but we have more Lings behind this. We have all the more behind this. The gateways are falling left and right. We have a full wall being set up in the main base. This is huge. EON is unaware, so the wall is going to be able to finish. He won't be able to get into the main base. We do have a Void Ray here for Goblin. Now EON realizes, I spent a little bit too much time here. I have to rotate around, maybe take down the pylons at the third. Damage is being done, and EON can drone from here. Unfortunately, he can't straight up end the game. The potential for that is there if there wasn't a full wall up at the ramp, and again, we still see that full wall. Literally everything outside has been taken out. I love it. We have Baileys behind this. So EON has the option to drone if he wanted to. We do see he's checking the pocket base just in case there's a hidden nexus. And he is droning a little bit. He's making queens so he doesn't die to these Oracles, as the Oracles do go across the map, but they do not have. That means they're not at home to defend. And the Baileys are coming in. The Baileys break on through the wall. The Link spot on it as well. And EON, is he doing it, puppy? The Baileys crash into the middle line. Link's going to try and do what they can. The pylons, the Sim City is honestly pretty good here. It's making it really awkward to get a full surround on the Adepts. The Oracles rush all the way back home as well. The Links, they want the probe kills. And they will get 7 in the end. It looks like the Void Rays, we already have 2. We're about to have 3. The Lings are starting to run out here. Goblin is going to be able to live on 27 workers. Behind this, we got Spores, we got Queens. EON, he can chill out. He's not. He's still making more Lings. But he can calm things down here. There we go. Lair is on the way, and he has options. He can go into Hydras, for example, for a Lingbane Hydra. That wouldn't be too bad. He can go into Aspire instead. Lingbane Corruptor could do well. He's going to go for, again, another little bit of Ling Harass here at the natural base. It looks like Goblin will be able to expand. He's thinking about maybe taking, or double expanding, actually. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle here for Goblin. He does have a couple of Void Rays, 3 in total, soon to be 4. That's a lot of Void Rays. And because it's Moondance, he can defend on 3 bases. Like, it's going to be relatively easy to hold on to these 3 next side, moving on forward here. But again, he gives up complete map control to EON. EON can do whatever the hell he wants from here. And I'm curious to see what he does do. So far, doing a great job with his queens. He's got a spore in each mineral line. These Void Rays can still deal some damage. I'm worried that we don't have enough queens. We have 7 in total. That's okay, but you know, Void Rays can do a lot of damage. Meanwhile, the Oracles are going to be pulling these queens over towards the natural base. Void Rays headed towards the third, where there's only a single queen, and this is where I start to worry a little bit. The Queen is going to fall. The Void Ray is going to focus on a couple of these drones. They could even maybe get the hatchery, but okay, they will get 9 drones in total, combined with the power of those Oracles. And with the arrival of these Queens, okay, these Void Rays aren't going to do too much. Oh, we'll barely escape. And it is indeed going to be Hydras. I appreciate this. Hydras are stronger when it comes to hitting a timing attack. We do see +1 range. We do see Hydra speed, Hydra range as well behind this. And this is going to be a hard hold for Goblin. Not impossible, not impossible. I mean, Void Rays can do a lot of harassing economic damage and slow things down. An example of that would be to take down the Scat Scats. Oh no! One Void Ray does get sniped though. What's important is that he did just scout the Hydras, and now we can start getting ready at home. Cannons are being thrown down. We need a better answer to Hydras. There are a couple of options. You know, we can go into charge lots if we want to be a little bit more efficient and only use minerals. We could try and get into some kind of splash damage, but that's going to take a long time as well. Goblin is committed to Sky Toss. He's getting +1 air attack and still making nothing but Void Rays. The Oracles are going to try and slip on in. This time, Hydras are in position, so the natural base is perfectly fine. Fleet Beacon is on the way. More shield batteries as well. If it's a pure Hydra attack, they're going to have a hard time breaking through. Banelings will make this a little bit easier, and we do have that tech. There we go. Baneling speed is on the way, so Ling Bait Hydra is going to be the name of the game. One of the Oracles already getting sniped out of the sky. And EON here so close here to taking this to the ace match. Second Stargate all the way. The longer this goes on, like Goblin, he's getting closer and closer to getting into carriers. That's what I'm most worried about. As soon as this Fleet Beacon finishes, we're going to see them coming out. They're going to be on the way. That's why we don't have any production on this Stargate. Meanwhile, at 60 workers, it looks like EON has finished droning. He's still making nothing but Ling, Bane, Hydra. Tempests are going to be coming out, not carriers. I think a better defensive unit here. They're going to be behind this massive wall. They're going to be doing a great job at just shelling away at the Hydras. But here we go. EON is pushing out now. And there's only going to be 2 Tempests to defend. Baneling's going to crash on through. They don't even need to because the wall is no longer a wall. Goblin being a little bit greedy, going for a 4th base. We'll see if it's going to be enough. We'll see if we have enough Hydras. I'm a little bit concerned that we may not have enough anti-air behind this, especially because EON, he was droning up a little bit more as well. Like, I feel like maybe he was a little bit conflicted about whether he should keep droning or keep making Hydras. Now, here we go. The attack is getting ready. The Banelings are pushing on forward first. That Cybercore is going to be a little bit vulnerable. Mothership on the way. There is no detection on that. Sorry. There is one over here. Changeling, going to get a bit of a scout off. Army has been spotted. Goblin is rotating over. He is now ready here at the natural base. Ready to face whatever comes his way. I still think there may be too many Hydras. There are a lot of shield batteries and an overcharge available, but the Banelings crash on in. Force field is going to keep them at bay. The overcharge putting in a lot of work right now. But it may not be enough anyway. Banelings roll on in. The shield battery goes down. The pylons as well. The Hydras are breaking into the natural base. Tempest does fall. There's still a lot of Tempest remaining, and again, they can kite their hearts out. Same with these Void Rays. These Hydras have a lot of work to do. He's trying to break into the main base. We have Lings flooding in behind this as well. It looks like the Cybercore is going to go down, but the Hydras are slowly being cleaned up. Is this going to be enough damage? Oh no, the boys are forced to be pulled. More probes are falling, and I feel like this may be a little bit too much. You know, Goblin, sure, he's got the 1 base economy. Sure, he's got a lot of Tempests. I mean, that's great and all, but... And I mean, again, he shouldn't die to these Hydras. But he's losing so many workers. Behind this, EON, again, he doesn't want to throw. We have a Spire on the way, so he wants to get into Corruptors. He knows Corruptors are exactly what he needs. 45 probes go down. 45 probes! That's a lot of probes. As we even have reinforcements hitting the 4th base as well. The Nexus, the natural, does go down. The pocket base is going to survive. Same can be said here for the 4th, I imagine. I don't think there are enough Hydras here. The Corruptors are on the way, and I don't know if Goblin can end the game with this army. Oh, the 4th goes down. Looking at the unit stat, we have 5 Tempests and 1 Mothership. And 1 Zealot. Where is that Zealot, by the way? There it is. Beautiful. 5 Tempests, a Mothership, a Zealot, soon to be 6 Tempests and 1 Carrier. Technically, we could go across the map and then we can recall back home. Well, recall with the Mothership, I mean, or even recall with our... No, there's not enough energy on the Nexus. So we could maybe go for a Hail Mary play. But EON, like, his macro is insane right now. Like, he has the drone count that he needs. He can just keep on pumping out these Corruptors, and even though he may not have Hive and Vipers and the ideal army, I mean, neither does Goblin. You know, he only has a handful of units remaining. Pretty all in. He has to be so careful with how he maneuvers. We have plenty of detection. Jesus, 5 Overseers. A little bit overkill, but, you know, EON doesn't want to get caught out without any detection. And Goblin... Yeah, he already gets spotted as well. I don't know if he can really escape from here. He throws down the Time Warp. I almost forgot what it was called. Oh my god, do we have a -400, -400? We do. Mothership barely gets taken out. We do see a recall back home, so all the Tempests are going to survive. But GG gets called, and EON ties up the series. Oh, GG. We are going to be going to our ace match. And yeah, I'm a little bit shocked. I say shocked. I'm very happy to see that we're going to the ace match, and happy to see that EON was able to make it through. Again, a lot of this all comes back to Goblin keeping his first Oracle at home. It's something that doesn't usually happen, but I mean, clearly he was really paranoid about Lings denying his third base, and he wanted to make sure that it stayed up and running. So yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for that whatsoever. As we are going to be switching servers here. But I don't blame him for that. But like, because of that, he didn't see that there was a Ling Bane bus coming, right? It was on the Oracle to get that scouting information. And here we go. We now go into that ace match. Oh. And yeah, we'll see where we go from here. Meanwhile, it looks like I may have a co-caster.
Hi.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Oh my god, my voice is saved. I'd like to welcome everyone. Welcome Kuro to the stream.
Welcome, this is Late Night Kuro stream at 99.5 The Wizard. As we are loaded into Tropical Sacrifice for the ace match of this series, and we're looking at the base at the red Protoss player. Representing Team Roti, it is Goblin.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice ESL, we have the best player in all of Costa Rica representing Infernales Esports. It is EON.
I do wonder if people in the chat still remember the Wizard.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's hard to believe that that's as old as it is. You know, it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Yeah, like after I say that, I always realize like most people in the chat probably don't even know what we're talking about.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh god. But yeah, you know, it's great to have you back, Kuro. I don't know for how long, maybe for a couple of games. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it is past midnight here, so I'm a bit chill. But let's get into this game. And what happened in the previous games of this series? I heard there was some 13-12.
Game 1 was a 1-base roach all-in off of a 13-12.
Ah, okay.
It fell on its face because Goblin scattered it and he over-prepared, and rightly so. Okay. So Goblin defended beautifully. Game 2, it was a 3-base Ling Bane all-in, or a Ling Bane bust. And Goblin, he did go for a Stargate opener, but he kept his first Oracle at home and he didn't get any scouting information at all. So he had no idea what was happening. And yeah, the Banes rocked up and they didn't end the game, but they did cripple Goblin long enough for EON to come up with a Hydra follow-up. The Hydra follow-up also didn't kill Goblin. They crippled him. Then after that, he came in with Corruptors. Goblin was doing his best to hold on, and he was doing really well. But again, like, just lack of scouting kind of made things difficult for him in the early game.
But so far it looks like we're not as aggressive as some of the previous series. But we do have that Stargate on the side of the Protoss.
Yeah, everything is looking pretty standard so far. EON even going for his third hatchery on time as well. So everything's looking pretty normal. Again, though, this is exactly how the previous game opened up between our two players. Everything looking pretty normal, and then EON did something different. That's kind of what we're waiting for. You know, what is EON going to do here in the ace match? Or is he going to play standard?
Yeah, maybe he will. But so far, we see a Baning nest. So once again, maybe some Banes are coming up. Maybe we're going to see some busting.
Yeah, this is bold here. So EON is going for the same build he did last game, going for a regular 3 hatcheries. He only gets 6 to 8 workers at his natural, and he is making nothing but lings behind this. It was great to see him whip it out in the last game, but doing it 2 games in a row is I don't think I'm really fond of it. We'll see if Goblin goes across the map with his Oracle. He should. If he doesn't, he may not see this again.
I mean, to be fair, even if he does, I'm not sure if the Oracle will see it. It will see the links now.
Yeah, the Oracle does spot all of these links, so the jig is up. Link's going to get surrounded on this adept, but the Shade is going to keep it alive for a little bit longer. We did see a third base was going to be on the way here for Goblin. It's going to get taken out, and the Banelings are being morphed in.
Yeah, they are very more. The Oracle does not see the Banelings, but I guess after the last game, Goblin can assume what's coming up. And he does have his wall set up, but I think you can bust that Stalker, right?
Well, the problem is that Goblin has only seen those links, and those are pretty standard to deny the third, you know? There has been no indication that there's a Baneling nest. Goblin didn't scout across the map with his Oracle again. He kept it at home. Second Oracle is going to help out. Lings so far, they take out a probe, and this is all looking pretty normal, but the Banelings are about to make things a little bit different.
Oh, they're waddling into that wall. There's that one Stalker. The Oracle spot them, but can they even stop them?
Oh, it looks like the Banelings are going to crash into the Stalker. Stalker barely going to go down, but the wall is a wall. We even have a sentry behind this, so there's no way into the natural base. Lings are going to get surrounded here on the Adepts, but I don't think they can get a kill. Oh my god, they don't even get both Adepts.
Yeah, there was a really nice position between these gazers, and yeah, one of the Adepts survives just barely. Overall, a pretty neat defense from Goblin.
Yeah, exactly. Very strong defense. EON is forced to drone up behind this. Thankfully, he wasn't completely all in, but he is now pretty far behind. He intended for that to do more damage, to at least cancel the third base, to at least break into the natural and get probe kills. We do see even a secondary wall being set up behind this for Goblin, so he's a little bit afraid that there's going to be a follow-up wall in. But EON has some catching up to do.
Wait, is Goblin not gonna be able to leave the base now? He's gonna have to destroy the buildings, right?
Oh,
No, he still can. I think so.
There we go.
But in the meantime, the Oracles, they try to get some damage, but mostly just revelations. There was a Queen and a Spore to protect the base, so no major damage there.
Yeah, they're just confirming, okay, you are now droning. Now I am safe to also probe up. He recognizes that EON has backed up and is trying to macro out of this, so Goblin has to be feeling pretty good about himself. He's got more than 10 workers, which is something that you never want to see in this matchup, and EON is going to try and go into Hydras again.
I mean, it doesn't seem like the worst idea against some at least partial Skytus, but we will see if that's what Goblin wants to go for, as these Oracles are trying to fish for some damage, and they're gonna get 3 drones, which is nice.
Yeah, really nice damage done here at the Gas Geyser. I mean, Ling Hydra is honestly pretty good. Ling Bane Hydra is pretty good against Blink Stalkers, and that is what we're seeing here from Goblin. The biggest problem is just the economy, right? Goblin right now, he is going to have more than enough to sustain himself. EON is still struggling in that respect, not even saturated on 3 bases. He is getting a 4th. He's trying to sneak it out, which is a great move here. And again, like, his overall tech and army is going to be what he needs. It's just he needs to be able to provide for it. He needs to get his drone count up a little bit higher without losing too much of these oracles.
By the way, I do like that wall by Goblin at his third base, so there will be no Link run-bys, no Banelings sneaking in to destroy these probes.
Yeah.
And he's setting up the similar thing at the 4th.
Yeah, the wall's being set up at the 4th as well, and now here we go. Goblin is going to be pushing out. This is the first terrifying moment here for EON. EON, can he defend and actually hold on to this 4th base? Goblin already setting up here with a couple of stasis traps to make sure that Lings cannot dive on top of these Blink Stalkers, and the 4th is going to be under threat.
There is only an Artosilop to defend.
Oh god, yeah, Arto's not doing what he can, but yeah, EON knows he cannot defend this. The base is going to be going down. He's going to try and muster an army here at his 3rd base location instead. But Goblin, I'm pretty sure he's pretty content with just killing a 4th.
Yeah, kills a 4th. I mean, his own 4th is already done and being saturated, so this is really great for the Protoss.
Yeah, exactly. Behind this, he's even going double Robo, maybe to go into Colossi production as well. He does have vision of this army, and the Stalkers are going to dip on in, and oh, they do get a kill on the spine.
Yeah, they do this. The Hydras were a bit distracted with the rocks, and actually a lot of them are now falling down to these Stalkers. There's a reinforcement force as well. And the whole army of Eon is now gone.
Yeah, exactly. He just didn't have the Lings here to buffer for the Hydras. Lings are a crucial part of this kind of composition that you need to go for, and the Stalkers are just a little bit too good here again. Eon going for the Bane bust. Didn't work out for him. Set him too far behind, and GG gets called. Goblin takes game 3 and moves on in the bracket.
Yeah, GG. Nicely done by Goblin. Very, very clean game, I would say. I mean, to be fair, after previous game, he was. I assume he was expecting that this build may be coming, so that's probably part of why his defense was very clean. But still, very nicely done.
Yeah, really well done there by Goblin. Eon, I love the way that he played this series out, but going for the Bane Bust 2 games in a row. Oh god, I wasn't too fond of that idea. Regardless, I hope he is content that he took it to the ace match against Goblin. Goblin, like a more well-known internationally player. So it's cool to see that Eon was able to take it to him. And again, Eon is... I was going to say still in the bracket, but no, it's the top 16 that have double elimination. So... my condolences to Eon. I hope he I hope he's not I hope he's not too upset about his performance here. Like, going to the ace match against Goblin isn't an easy thing to do.
Yeah, this is a specific format for these TSL brackets where the double elimination only starts from round of 16. It doesn't matter how many players sign up, how big the bracket is. Like, everything that's before round of 16 is just single elimination, and round 16 and above is double. On that note, Eon is one of these players who like signs up like regularly. Like, he signed up for the Latin American qualifiers before as well. Like, I feel like he's the kind of person who's like not so much discouraged by defeat, you know? Like, you know, he's trying his best. And I do appreciate that.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that as well. You know, nothing is stopping him from being a part of this. So yeah, thank you so much for the games, Eon. Now you can get some well-deserved rest. But we move on here in the bracket, and there's another reason why we wanted to get on this series. That is, of course,
what is it?
That is, of course, Goblin moves on to face a Duckling.